Okay, cool. Hi. Right. Hello, everybody. My name's Lance Wicks. You don't need the surname, but anyway. Before we start, just a little introduction. I'm a Perl developer, have been for a while. I work for a company called CV Library in the UK. We're a job board, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we're hiring. We're always hiring. Please come work with me. Outside of the working for CV Library, I do judo. I normally tell you that so you don't heckle me.
You should anyway.
You should anyway. Yep. And the reason I'm giving this talk is this is my talk on the CPAN pull request challenge. And what I'm going to talk about is the pull request challenge itself, a quick history of it, and a little history of the modules from this year that I've been involved with, some of the challenges to doing it and the benefits for doing it, and to try and encourage you all to give it a go. Okay, cool. So first things first, the history of the CPAN pull request challenge. It's nothing to do with me. Most of you will probably know Neil Bowers' name. Good. It's Neil Bowers' thing. Basically, my interpretation of the history of it is that back in 2014, I think it was Neil that did it, somebody can correct me, the CPAN day. He sent that email and everybody was encouraged to upload a module to CPAN. I'd never uploaded a module to CPAN, so I wrote a module for CPAN to wind up one of the guys I worked with, just to wind him up. I wrote a little Perl critic policy to pick up Perl secrets, if you know that one, and somebody foolishly at the back here uses it, which resulted in this weird bug report saying, hey, this thing's written with regexes, man, what are you doing? So I rewrote it. That led into the pull request challenge in 2015, and I foolishly signed up for that. And for those of you, has everybody heard about the pull request challenge? You know how it works, kind of? Yeah, so basically, I get allocated a random module every month from CPAN, and you're encouraged to try and make a change to it, and anything you want, and get the pull request in that month. And then the next month, you get another one, and another one, another one. So I did it in 2015, it's pretty cool. 2016 rolled around, and for some reason, I said I'll do it again. Missed a few, but I got most of them. End of 2016, this is hard work. I don't want to do this. I know what I'll do. I'll rope in people I work with, and we can all do it together, and there'll be lots of people, and I won't have to do it. Unfortunately, what it actually ended up with is I get one module for me, and our company gets one module. So we signed up with the CV Library GitHub account, and the whole dev team foolishly said, yeah, we'll do that, Lance. So every month of what we do is we get together on a Wednesday night, hang out after work, have a pizza. Sometimes we get Asian food, it's a bit radical. And we try and make a commit to the module that we've been given. And kind of the reason we did it wasn't just because I was trying to get out of doing it for myself, was talking with my boss. She was really keen on the idea that it'd be really good for us to work across our dev teams. CV Library is really growing. So we went from, I think when I started there was 5 developers, and now there's a floor full of developers. So there's people who work in my company that I barely know now. And it was we could really, they work doing the same thing as me, but I don't really know them. So it'd be really nice to get to know them. We thought it was a really nice way of exploring Perl and to explore CPAN itself. We thought, we had lofty goals, thought we can contribute back to, the community and to Perl, which keeps us in jobs. So, yeah. And it gave us this opportunity to try different ways of working that we don't do every day in our day-to-day job. So we have a fairly, we sit at our desk, we write code. Sometimes we work with the guy who sits next to us, sometimes with a group of people. But it was quite nice. We thought it'd be a quite nice way of exploring other ways that we could work together. And as our team's grown, we have people who've been there a long time, not a long time, been writing Perl for a long time, not running it for a long time. We thought it'd be quite a nice way of helping teach people stuff across the team. And pizza, lots and lots of pizza, recurring theme. So January rolled around, and we got task biodiverse no GUI. You all know this module intimately.
Sure.
Yep. Step 1, try and get it going. It's got a dependency on Fortran. I don't know why. The picture on the left-hand side is the GUI that comes with task biodiverse no GUI. I don't know. It was really interesting because we had no clue what we're doing, how we'd do it, so we just kind of rocked up on the night and went, hey, cool, okay, what do we do? It was in an area of like stuff we knew nothing about. We don't do anything. It's got something to do with mapping species and biodiversity. It's been 8 months and I still don't really know what it does. But it was really interesting because we knew nothing about it. So we actually got hold of the author. I think he lives in Australia. And he helped us install it and get all the dependencies and all that sort of stuff. And that was really interesting. And that's actually one of the people I work with managed to get it working and followed the quick start guide, which, if I remember rightly, was like 30 pages. And got it working and got something on the screen. And we were like, everybody stopped and just looked at the screen and said, wow, that's it. And then we went, what does it mean? And then we went, I don't know. What was really nice was, it was quite an interesting one for us because it got us to tell people about what CPAN was. Most people in our dev team knew what CPAN was. Some of them didn't know what pause was. They had no clue. They'd never been on it, never seen it. Some of them didn't have GitHub accounts, which some of us went, oh, they don't have a GitHub account, what's going on? But they just never used it. We used Git in the office, so they knew that, but they never used GitHub. And lots of people didn't really understand the idea of what a pull request was. Like, that's how you contribute back, that's how you do these things. So we had to go through and explain to some of the people in our team what all that stuff was. And that was really cool. And the 44 builds for the win was when I was trying to push something at midnight on a Saturday night at home, and I noticed that my boss, the IT director, had just started a build at midnight on a Saturday night. And it was the 44th one in a row. But it was one that turned green. It was really cool. But it was that thing of, we did it on the Wednesday, and on Saturday night, my boss, the IT director, was doing a push. Her 44th one in a row. But it was quite nice. Okay, then February rolled around, and we got Git hooks. Git hooks does exactly what you think it does. It helps you write hooks for Git. Again, it wasn't one we'd used before or anything like that. Haven't done Jan, we did a little bit of pre-planning, so we'd looked at the module a bit, we'd looked at the bug tracker, we'd had a bit of a nosy around, so we had a bit more of an idea of what we wanted to do. This one used Distzilla, so that was really helpful for us. That's me in the back there somewhere, with my crazy dual monitors, but anyway. It helped us talk about what Distzilla was and about packaging up modules, because we hadn't talked about that in the one before that. And people had some of the people had never written a module and didn't understand that stuff. I put Travis CI here. Are you all familiar with Travis CI? No? So Travis CI, are you all familiar with Jenkins? Okay, that's the easiest way. It's like Jenkins on the interwebs. So it lets us do continuous integration. A lot of open source projects are using it. And it hooks into GitHub really nicely. So you push your code and it runs all the tests, and then it sort of puts a little comment on the commit saying, oh yeah, all the tests pass, or 44 builds later, they didn't all pass. The other thing that we did is we rewrote one of the tests and used this module called test requires Git. And it just checked that you had Git, if I remember rightly, that you had Git installed. The author, we put it in and did a pull request, and the author wrote back to us, oh cool, I've never heard of this module. Simplified this test a little bit. And it was really nice because we found it, went, oh, maybe we could use this. We did our pull request. And then the author wrote back to us and said, oh, cool, never heard of that module. That's really handy. Thanks. And that was the first time we got that little buzz of the author wrote back to us and said, hey, thanks very much. And then in March, we got Linux Unshare. Linux Unshare, everybody use that one? Good, excellent. I meant to say, if any of the authors of any of these modules are in here, I don't mean anything. It's all just make believe. So it's the unshare command in Linux. What was really interesting about this one was it's an XS module. You'll write XS on a day-to-day basis, like me? No, I'd never written XS in my life.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah. What was really nice is there was one person in the office who had written some XS, and he talked us all the way through how it worked. Linux Unshare is a teeny tiny module. It's a little wrapper around the Unshare thing. But it was nice because everyone in the team, including our most junior developers up to our most senior ones, got walked through how XS works and how you might run an XS module and why you might do it and the benefits of it. So it's a really nice thing that if I'd been asked by my boss to explain XS to one of our developers because we have a performance issue and we must do it in C, I wouldn't have had a clue where to start. But now I have this thing that I can just say, remember when we did that thing in March? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Just go do that one, this way bigger, scarier thing. It'll be fine. It doesn't show up very well here because of the colour. Our commit to this was we moved one line, 3 lines down. And it fixed this massive bug that the author hadn't been able to fix. I think so. Did you have it?
I tried, I couldn't.
Yeah, he had it, and in a previous month and couldn't fix it. And one of our guys, 2 or 3 train journeys later, and I think it was a week and a half later after we'd done our thing, moved this one line, 3 lines down, and then everything magically worked. And everybody was happy. So that was cool. And then we got Perl, LWP. Oh boy. Yeah. So I pulled out another one of, I started the evening with a little talk of the river of CPAN, which is another one of Neil's sort of things, talking about guys, girls, if we break this, 1 or 2 people might get a little bit upset. So let's be really careful about this. But it was really interesting to just show people all the stuff that depends on LWP on CPAN safe, including our production code on the servers, some of it, guys, girls, be really, really careful about this one. Yep. The other one, there's 1 or 2 bugs on LWP.
The cookie was horrible.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of just going through the bug list, trying to look for stuff and see if it's actually a bug, has it been fixed. And there was a little bit of that there were some stuff that was already fixed, stuff that was just, we could test it and go, yeah, it's still broken, if nothing else. It was also the one where we introduced the team to coveralls, coveralls.io, if you're familiar with that one. No? Cool. Okay. If Travis CI is like Jenkins and does that, this is like Devel cover on a website. So it'll show you your coverage. So we got to talk to people about that and about test coverage and how important it is and all that sort of stuff. And probably the most important thing for us was that it told us that even the big scary projects actually had some stuff that we could pick off. There were, like we say in English, it had some low-hanging fruit we could grab and we could do stuff, even on LWP. Okay, May rolled around, and we got @alt SQL. This is like, you all use this one as well, I'm sure. This is just a command line tool to access my SQL servers. We do that quite a bit. And the really nice thing was people started using it even before the pull request challenge. People had installed it, started playing with it, and they go, oh, this is really cool. The feature you see there, which you can't really tell, is that after the word test, the space is highlighted. One of our QA people wrote that change. A non-Perl developer wrote that change, packaged it up, did the commit, pushed it, got the pull request through, which was really, for us, it was a big step for us that a QA person, we work with every day, who doesn't write Perl code, wrote a change on a module and got it onto, I think it got accepted and it's on CPAN. The other big one on that is one of our junior developers is now the maintainer for the module. Because the author wrote back to him and said, it's dead. I don't do anything with it. I think in 2 different emails, they kind of hinted that if anybody else wanted to pick it up, and then eventually we sent an email around the office, if anybody wants to pick it up and look after it, you can. Now they do. Okay, June, we got past error string Perl. We're getting pretty good at this now, but we'd hired a new person, a new junior developer. And the really nice one about this one, I can't even remember what the module does, I apologize. But the really nice thing that stood out for us on this one was that the newest developer we'd hired was able to get a pull request onto the module. And the really, really cool thing was the author accepted it that night before we even left the building. They'd already accepted it, like that. And this person had never touched CPAN. I don't think they'd even installed a CPAN module. But within that evening, they'd learnt about it, written a change, and got it accepted by the author. It was really, really cool. Then we got PPI, which I know loads about now, thanks. So I was able to actually say what PPI did, thanks to Sawyer.
Who's picking these?
Yeah. I'll tell you now. In July, I also got given a module by Brian Defoe, who the week before I'd just given this talk to. And then I got his module again. Neil, you are just messing with me now. This is not fun anymore. But it went really well. We extended some tests, we did some quality issues. One of our ops guys was able to get a commit on it. So he's a server guy, he does database stuff for DBA, and he got a commit in just from the quality issues. I don't even know why he was there. He just liked hanging out and getting pizza. And we said, well, seeing as you're here, you can do this thing. And he went, oh, okay. And somebody helped him and he got it in. It's really cool. Okay, so those are the modules we've had so far. So far, we're running at 100%. I personally, this year, am running at 100%. Previous years, I haven't done so well. For me, the really interesting things are these. We have a mix of abilities. So we have some junior developers, we have people that have been doing Perl for years. We have some super smart people who run at 1,000 kilometers per hour, and some people that take a bit longer like me. I don't get it, slow down. The other really big one that we struggle with a little bit is imposter syndrome. So people come in, and I have this every time. They give me a module and I go, oh my God, I don't know what to do with that. I get modules from people who are famous. I've just met Brian before, and then I got one of his modules. You're like, I don't know what to do. And it's really helped with that. The other one is it's really helped us with gaps in people's knowledge about things in the team. It's got people out of their comfort zones, so they all have to do stuff they're not comfortable with. A lot of stuff about received knowledge and finding stuff for people to work on has been really hard. There's a lot of people who get really scared. I couldn't do anything. I'll just do this documentation fix over here. And you go, come on. And we've been working really hard to try and say, no, don't do that. You're a DBA. Come on, do this Perl thing. Or you're the QA person. Come on, you can, with a bit of help, you can totally write some Perl. And that's been really fun. Okay, so yeah, we've been working across teams. It's been really good for education. Taught us lots of stuff. It's taught us quite a bit about the team, about the Perl community, about, CPAN versus meta CPAN, little things like pause, uploading modules, who some of the authors are, that sort of stuff. The one that's probably the best for us in many ways is we've got loads of feedback from the authors and people just saying, oh, thanks, that's really cool. They generally write back to us when we write to them. It's just been really, really positive for me personally and for the team, and especially for our juniors. Like I said, the junior who got a pull request accepted and like their first week working as a developer was just such a buzz for them and for us. If you want to give it a go, you can do it as an individual or you can do it as a team. Neil said you can do it as a team. All you really have to do is email them. That's what he told me. It's just email them with your GitHub name and you can join in. Okay, thanks. Any questions? Yeah.
I wanted to ask if there's any ideas of sharing the lessons that you've learned from this, the approach you take to this, kind of like a guide to other companies or other teams or other people who want to start doing this and promote this where they work or in their group.
Right, so is there any, are we thinking about doing a plan on like sharing how we've been doing it as a team?
Yeah, it could be blog posts, it could be a guide.
There is a little bit, we blog about it as well, I didn't mention that. So our company blog, our tech blog, we write about it. We haven't written anything about how we've done it. I've given this talk here and in London as well. But yeah, it'd be really nice for us maybe to be better and like, yeah, if you want to try it, better than just like send Neil an email. But yeah, that's a good idea. Any other questions? Yeah.
Annotation. So if you want to sign up for this, you can actually sign up until the 31st of December, and he will even for December still give you a module.
Oh, really? If you sign up now, he'll give you one?
Yeah. So
yeah, if you do want to sign up,
and just go for it.
Yeah, sign up. It's not as hard as it feels, but yeah, sign up. All you need is a GitHub account. It's all on Git to make it easier. Modules are. He does do some cleaning up, and all the authors I think now have opted in where they weren't in the first couple of years. Yeah.
So the assignment of the modules is pure chance, or can you specify some constraints? Like in my case, I wouldn't have access to a Windows machine or something like that.
It's basically random. I don't run it, Neil does, but basically the allocation of the modules is based random, but they're clumped together. It's not every module on CPAN. There is a little bit of stuff. I think Neil's basic one is find the one that Lance doesn't want and give it to me.
You can ask to skip, to change a different module.
Yeah.
If you see
Yeah.
something you can't, you can ask.
Yeah. yeah, you can skip. Yeah.
And how do you volunteer your modules?
I don't know. I don't know how you volunteer your modules. Right to Neil, I'm guessing.
They must be on the GitHub.
Yeah, they must be on
Yeah.
GitHub. But you
Yeah.
can just write to him.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does it, but he scores them on the pull request challenge website. There is a score table, and he scores them based on the river of CPAN and how many how many dependencies they are, like where they are somewhere upstream of something else. And those, I think he wanted to go to actually have like show how many points people collected by contributing, but I think he hasn't done that yet.
Work.
And yeah, but he prefers to have modules where they actually are dependencies, but there are also some that are ridiculous, and I don't know how they ended up there, but they're there as well.
Okay. If you see me later, ask me any questions. I'd appreciate that if you come talk to me. Thanks very much.